Hi everybody, this is Kim from Earn Greater Profits, and today I'm going to be talking about classes. And I've done a previous video or two about how to set up classes so that people can purchase and register with your class without using the calendar. Today I'm going to go more in depth about setting up your website or your funnel to have custom values for every class that you offer. So as an example, if you have, let's say 2 classes or a class a month, you have a workshop once per month, and so every time you want to create a new class or a new workshop, then we've already set up all the background stuff that goes on behind the scenes to make it really easy to transition to offering the next class. So if you have one class in October and one class in November and one class in December, and you want to offer at any one time, you're only offering 1 or 2 classes, then once your October class is done, you can switch the information up to your December or your January class, change only a few items, and have it be very seamless in how you offer your next class. And it really depends on how many classes you offer. So if you offer just one class every 3 months, then it'll be really easy for you. You don't have to do all the setup work for multiple classes. In fact, you could do it a different way using custom fields. And if you want to do that instead of what I show you in this video, contact me and I'll help you set that up. This video is specifically for people that are offering multiple classes, multiple workshops, and you want an easy way to transition from one class to the next class without having to recreate everything every single month. So let's get into it. So this video is going to include creating custom values for each class, creating a custom page, creating the products, attaching the products to the page, creating the emails for the classes, creating the workflows, and then we're going to test everything. And so let's go ahead and start with custom values. And if you don't know what a custom value is, it's basically anything you want to input as your business. Any information you want to give to customers that is the same for that customer at any given time. So there's also something, if you look down here in the lower left-hand corner, under other settings, we've got custom fields and custom values. We're working with custom values right now. But the difference between custom fields and custom values is that custom fields is related to the customer, to the contact themselves, and could be different for each person. Whereas a custom value is related to you, the company, and is not customer unique to the customer. Okay, so that's the reason we're using custom values in this particular instance, is because the classes you're offering are going to be the same for each customer. So say you have an October class that you're offering, the information is the same for every person that wants to sign up for that class. So that's why we're using custom values. And once we get into it, you'll kind of understand what we're doing. So I have created the first couple of sets of what we need for our class. And this is at the point where you want to decide, okay, what information am I going to give when I'm offering the class, and what kind of information can I put in a custom value to make it super easy for me later on. So I've made the basic first sets. So I've named mine class number 1. Now you could name it, if every year you have a Halloween class or an October class, and every year you have a November class or a Thanksgiving class. Every December you have a December class or a Christmas class. Whatever it is, you decide how you want to name it and stay consistent every time. Now, for this particular instance, I'm picturing in my mind, I've got more than one class a month. I've got more than one workshop a month. I'm not consistent on when those classes are showing up, so I don't want to name them by a month. I don't want to name them by an event or a holiday. I just want 2 or 3 templates for a class that I can continually reuse over and over again. Okay. Now, if you do a Halloween class every single year, by all means, name it Halloween class, and then you just set that there. And when October comes around the next year, it's all ready for you to use. But for this instance, I'm just naming them class 1, class 2, workshop 1, workshop 2. You can add as many as you need, and then change it up however it works for you. So I've got in here, the first one I put in is class 1 title. And these go by alphabetical order, so they're not in the order that I added them. But you want a title for your class because that title changes. You want an image for that class, possibly, because that image will change. You want a date and time for that class because that definitely will change. And then you want a venue if that changes. If your venue never, ever changes, you don't need this. But if your venue changes per class or could change per class, then you'll want this in here. That way you're not going into every single email and every single workflow, changing up these spots where it could have been changed in one spot. And then the last one I've got in here is an event date. This has to do with the workflows and setting an event date for the workflow so that emails get sent out at the right time for your customers. But we don't want it to show up in our emails as looking like this. We want it to show up looking like this. So I've got 2 different date and times, one for the one people will see and one for my workflow. Okay, so I'm going to just kind of show you how to create a custom value. I've created several, but actually what I'm going to do is copy this to class number 2 because this was kind of an afterthought and I want to add that. So I'm going to name it class 2 event date. And then I'm going to enter my value. And I've got the example here of the correct formula that you need. And so for my class number 2 is my January. So I'm going to put 0106 2024 space and then 10:00 space AM. And that will be the correct formula for the workflow. So when you're adding a new custom value, if you decide you want to add a new custom value, you do have to put the value in. If I've copied a snapshot over to you and these are already in here, the value will be blank, and then you just add the value of what you want in there. But when you're creating it, you have to add a name and then the value you want in here, and then it automatically creates the key for you, the custom value key. So let's move on. So I've got all of my class 2 information. I've put the information in. I've got, I think I added a workshop. I've got a workshop, title, date, time, venue. I did not add the event date, but this is just an example and you can see the flow. So let's move on. So once we've created all of the custom values, then we're going to go to our website and we're going to create the pages. And of course, if you've already created the pages, then all you have to do is edit the information in the values. So I've got my class number 1. I've got a class number 2 that I've just simply copied. And then I've got a workshop number 1 page. And then we can go ahead and copy to workshop number 2. And I'll show you how to copy pages. It's super simple. Now this is a funnel, but it works similar for the websites. And so you just clone the funnel step here, clone the funnel step in this particular funnel, or you can clone from a different location if you're using a different funnel and want to copy something over. So it's as easy as that. Now we're looking at workshop 1 clone, and let's go to publishing where we can change our step name to workshop 2 and our path to workshop 2. And then we just drag it up under workshop 1. So we've got class 1, class 2, workshop 1, workshop 2. Class 1 will go in here, and I'll just show you what I've got set up for automations. So I've got my custom value class 1 title, and let's skip back to our custom values. Class 1 title. So what I've done is I copied this key here and pasted it right here where I want that class 1 title to show up. So whatever is here is going to show up in this spot once it's published. And then of course I have my class 1 date and time and my class 1 venue. These are all these values that I've put in already. Okay. And so there really is, on this class 1 website page, there is nothing to change except for the cost. And you can even make that a custom value as well. So if your costs change by class, then, in fact, let's just do it. Let's just add this custom value and say class 1 cost. And we're going to put $70. Okay, so here's our class 1 cost is $70. I'm going to copy the key. I'm going to come over to my website. I'm going to highlight that, and instead I'm going to throw this up there. I'm going to make it bold so it doesn't look any different than the text And so I'm going to save it. I'm going to come over here. This is the class 1 page. And you can see that I already have this set up. It already looks right. Here it says cost is 70, so let's reload. It should look exactly the same. There we go. So if your costs change, then by all means add a custom value to make that a variable cost. All right, so let's go back here. There's nothing left to do here at the moment. So the next thing we need to do is create our product for the order form that is sitting right here. We just need to attach a product. So we're going to come over here. We're going to scroll down to payments, and then we're going to click on products. Okay, and I have created one, but we'll create one together. But first I'll show you what it looks like, the class 1 product that I've created. So I just titled it class 1, and that makes it easy for me to know exactly which place to put it. So class 1 product is in the class 1 website. You can add a description here if you like, and sometimes it shows up in spots, or mostly for your own information. If you want to know more about how to create a product, watch my other video. For this class, of course, we're going to do a one-time fee of $70. You can add other prices if you have like an early bird pricing structure or something like that. So this is all created already, but let's create one together. And so I've got my class 1, I've got my class 2, I've got my workshop 1, and I've made my workshops $90. So let's create workshop 2. We'll just name that workshop 2, and we're going to do a one-time fee of $90. There's some additional options in here that you can do a price description or whatnot for your own information. Let's just save that. Okay. So let's go back. So now that we've created these products, we're going to go back to our website and we're going to click on the order form that's there. And then we're going to go into, oh, excuse me, we're going to go back. It's not very intuitive where you add a product to the order form. And so sometimes I forget. So this is a good reminder. You need to be in this area here in order to attach a product to a page. So we'll click on class 1, make sure we're on class 1. Then we'll come over here to products. And you can see that I have added, in fact, I'll delete this product. It's very easy to delete a product, but they want to make sure you really want to do it. So let's add a product, and we'll go through the products that we've created. And of course, we're going to use the class 1 product because we're in the class 1 page. We're going to search for the prices that we've created, and I've only created one price, but like I told you before, you can create multiple prices. And then this is where you can change your product name. So on the website, when somebody is filling out the order form, you don't want the product name to be class 1 because that's not descriptive enough for the person. They want to know what class they're signing up for. And so this is really the only thing you need to change. Actually, I'm wondering if a custom value would work. I have never tried that. Let's try it together. So here's my class 1 title. And sometimes custom values throws in a couple extra spaces. I don't know why, but delete those. Let's throw in this custom value as the product name and we'll save it. Because if that works, you'll never have to change it again in this area. Okay, so let's just do a little bit of testing here because I am curious if this works. So I'm going to put my information here. It didn't work. That's too bad. Maybe one of these days they'll adjust that so that it will. So what we want to do is just edit that and take off our custom value, and we'll put December cupcake decorating class. All right, and we'll save it. So just make note when you're changing up your classes, this one you just want to change up the product name. So now that we've changed that, let's just this will refresh, and we'll do some testing later, and you'll see that that has changed. Okay, so now that we've created, in fact, let's go to class 2, and let's add another product. So here's our class 2, our price, product name. This is going to be our January cupcake decorating class. And there's some additional options here as well. So if you want to allow your customers to be able to reserve more than one spot, then change it to whatever maximum units per order you want to allow them, how many seats you want them to purchase at any one time. And there you go. So the January cupcake decorating class is assigned to class 2. You can go to workshop, workshop 1. It's $90. Change this to our, I think I named it baking and frosting workshop. And we absolutely want to let people buy seats for their friends and family members. Okay, so we've got that there. And of course the workshop 2. Product name. I don't have a product name for that yet. I haven't actually created a name, so we'll just leave it at that. Hit save. And you can always edit it later. Again, you just click on the page you want to edit and then click on products. So you've got your 3 tabs over here. Just click on products, add a product, or edit a product. And then publishing, again, is to change the name and the URL of that particular page. Okay, so now that we've created our classes, oh, one thing I did want to do is make sure that our classes are set up here with our custom values. So class number 1 is, and yes, I've made class values class 2 title. I've copied these over. Let's just do that for one of the workshops so you get an idea. And one of these days they're going to also allow you to, they'll update this and allow you to add custom values without copying and pasting inside a website. So right now I just have workshop title. So I'm going to run over here to my custom value page and go to page 3 because these are set in alphabetical order. So I'm just going to copy the key from my workshop 1 and I'll just paste that in. Add a bunch of spaces there. And then the workshop date and time. We'll copy that over. And then we'll copy over the workshop venue. Again, if your venue is the same, you can just type in your venue address right here and never have to touch it again. But since we work with a couple different venues, we're going to leave it as a custom value. Okay, so we'll hit save and go back. And that's how you add your custom values to a website. All right, so the next thing we want to do is create the emails. So when somebody orders, we want those emails to go out to them with the class information. So let's run over here. And so on the left-hand side, you just go to marketing and then click on emails and then click on templates. I've got the class 1 emails already set up, and I'm going to show you what they look like and how they work. And then if you want to create more, you just copy them and just adjust the information. So in here, I've got a custom value of my logo, which is why the logo doesn't show up right now. And I've also got, and sometimes it's hard to click on things that are overlapping. So all you need to do is go over here to section, column, image. This happens to be our, and then edit the image. And this image is not showing up because it is also a custom value. So the email looks a little weird because you're not seeing the images. But once the email populates and gets sent, then the images will show up. So I have the custom value class 1 image. Again, we copied and pasted it. Let's get back to our page 1. Custom values. So I just copied this custom values class 1 image right into this link to area. You can also just click on this, edit, and go to your media folder and just choose an image. But every time you change a class, if you have a different image, you're going to have to go into this and change it manually. And so why not just put in the custom value of the class image, and then when you edit these, you just edit. This is so easy to edit. You just change the value, and the value is going to be, you will upload your image to the media folder, and then you'll just click on the link, copy and paste the link right here, and update that to the new image. And then, of course, to update everything else, you just change the value. You just change the date here. You just change the cost here. You just change the title here. And that's as easy as it gets for changing up your class information. So let's get back to the emails. So my alternate text for SEO purposes is my class title. Makes it easy. That changes it every time and just pulls it into the correct thing. If you want to link your image to something, you're more than welcome to. And so I think that's it for the order confirmation. That'll be sent out immediately, and I'll show you in the workflow how that's done. 5 days before the class, or however many days before you want to set something up, then just a reminder, hey, your class is this weekend. Then you have your custom values right here, and it populates automatically when that email is sent. Again, I've got an image stuck in here that we can't see, but you can always go here and edit the image. In fact, I don't, so let's go ahead and link to that. Make it super easy to just link to this image, and of course delete those 2 extra spaces they put in for some reason. Okay, and if your spot where you want a custom value has this little price tag on it, just click on the price tag, go all the way to the bottom where it says custom values, and then we want our title as our alternative text. And there you go. And so there's other ways to find your custom values instead of copying and pasting. In the image, it doesn't have that. But for alternative text in other areas, then you have that option. In fact, here in emails, this custom value, class 1 title, right here, custom values, and we just go to the bottom, and then you click on the one that you want. This one is our class 1 title. There you go. So you can add other things or change it. In fact, we'll change it for our class 2 reminders. So we'll hit save template because we did actually do something here. And then we'll go back to our class reminder. Is exactly the same. In fact, I copied this from the 5-day reminder, and it just said, the only thing I changed is your class is tomorrow. I changed this, and oh, I've got the wrong value here. And for consistency's sake, if you do the same thing for each class in custom values, it's so easy to change. I don't have to go back and find, this thing here. I just changed one number. I went from class 2 to class 1 because I accidentally chose the wrong custom value. And so easy to change. In fact, if this happens to be the workshop email that I just copied, let's just change this to workshop. And there you go. So easy to change if you stay consistent with how you name things. All right. And so what I'm going to do here is I only have my class 1 order confirmation and reminders. So I'm going to show you how to copy these. I'm just going to simply copy and change this to class 2. I'm going to clone it. Okay, so I'm going to edit my images. I'm going to go to my layers since I can't see that image hiding in there. And edit the second image. And I'm just going to simply put class 2. I'm going to put class 2. Or I could click on this, scroll down to the bottom, find my class 2 titles. There you go. All right, and then when I'm going to go here, again, if I don't have anything and want to add something from scratch, I just click on custom values, class 2 title, and click on custom values, class 2 date and time, and we'll make it easy on myself and just change it to there. Okay, and that's all you have to do. So I've got my class 2 order confirmation email, and then you just copy each one to whatever email you want to do. Let's say you want to copy this and make this, let's make this workshop one. Class reminder, 1 day. Okay, so let's go over here to our layers again. And I don't know if I have, oh, that's the logo. I clicked on the wrong one. This one. Oh, I've just got the wrong, just copied that. And so now I need to, I have not created my workshop. Yes, I have created my workshop 1. Title, venue. I do not have an image, so we'll just leave that one blank. But you can kind of see what it would be if I had one. In fact, won't show up, but it would end up being Custom Values Workshop 1 image is what it's going to end up being. And then we'll add our custom value, scroll down to the bottom, title as our alternative text. And then we'll make it easy on ourselves and just change this to workshop. And you'll notice I did something different right there, or lost something. And if it is not correct, it's not going to show. So just scroll down to date and time on the workshop, and on the menu. I'll delete this. Also make sure we have an enter, a hard return there, because you don't want it all being mushed up on the same line. Okay, so we'll save that. So that's how you copy and paste your emails, and how you add your custom values to any email that you want to create. All right, and so now the next step is to go to the workflow. And so to get to the workflow, you just scroll down here on the left to automation. The workflows just show up here, and I've got my first workflow done. I'll show you all the reasoning behind the workflow, and then we'll copy this workflow. So workflows are where all the automation occurs on the back end. Everything that's done without you having to lift a finger. And so now that we have all of our values set up, we can set up the workflow, and it's going to work no matter what. No matter what class it is, it's going to work. And so we have to have a trigger. So when something happens, then this is going to happen. So when somebody buys or registers for a class, then this is going to happen. So I'm actually going to make this a little bit more specific. Class 1. Okay. So I'm filtering this trigger to be in my classes funnel. That's kind of what I've named my funnel website. And I've only got one. Otherwise, you could choose, if you have more than one. In this funnel or website, on this page, class 1, or I could choose class 2. This product is cupcake decorating class. Actually, I deleted that and recreated it, so the name is a little bit different. Submission type is sale. So you don't necessarily have to have all of these. This just filters it down to be very, very specific. So because we've only got one order form on class number 1, I can delete this. I don't really even need that unless I'm offering more than one class. So if I have, say, I've got my class on a Saturday, and then I've got the same class on Friday, and I want to be able to offer both classes on one page, then I'd put cupcake decorating class Saturday, cupcake decorating class Friday, and allow them to choose which one they want. And so they would have their choice of the date, and so they would choose whichever one they want. But then that changes, because when they choose that they want a Saturday class, we're going to have to send out the emails referencing Saturday. If they choose the Friday class, we're going to have to reference the class in the emails for Friday. And so we are going to have to do something a little bit different here. So if you want to be very specific and you've got Friday classes and Saturday classes and they're all on the same page, you've got to be very specific about which class it is that they're purchasing so that they get the right emails. So let's go ahead and put this back on. They're purchasing the December cupcake decorating class, and let's just pretend that's the Saturday class. So we save the trigger. So when they purchase from that page, that class, and the sale, I wanted to make sure that, again, you want the submission type to be sale. You don't want it to be anything else. And it's got to be on there. Otherwise, if they just fill out the first part of their information, their name, email, and phone number, and go to page 2 on that order form, it will send them the information because they've already opted in and we already have their name and email and phone number in their contacts, but we didn't specify that we're only sending them the email if they actually make a purchase. So you've got to have this one in here. Otherwise, anybody that starts that order will receive an email even though they haven't paid the money. They haven't put in their credit card information. So you've got to have that one. All right, so let's save our trigger. The next thing we're going to do is assign a user. If you've got more than one person, so you've got several users in your company, if it's coming from a specific user, then you can choose that person and just choose their name, and then they get applied. If they're new and they've never purchased from you before and they're not already in your system, then they will be assigned a particular user. Now, if they're not assigned a particular user, they're kind of out in space until you assign one manually, but it's just so much easier for the software to do it for you. And so I've just thrown that in, but only if they're unassigned. So if they already are in the system, they already have a user assigned, then it's not going to change the user. All right, so then the next one is we're going to add a tag. And so I'm just adding class customer. And so if they've been to a class before, they already have this tag. If this is their first class, it'll add this tag. So then later on, you can send emails saying, hey, we've got a new class. We know you've come to a class in the past. Here's a new class that you might be interested in. So it's always good to add a tag for whatever it is. You can even be specific if you want to create a tag for your October class or Halloween class or Christmas class, and you want to know which class they actually went to, then you can create those tags and add them here. And you can add as many tags as you want. So let's say they went to the November class. Great. But because it's so specific, you will have to come in here when you change up the class information. You'll have to come in here and update it to December class or October class or whatever the next class is, because that's very, very specific. And so here I'm just keeping it general so that I or my client doesn't have to come in here and update this, but you certainly can if you want. So then the next thing that's going to happen is we're going to set the event date. So class 1 is let's go back here so we can reference this. Back to our custom values in. So Saturday, December 9th at 10 a.m. is our date and time. That's going to be our event date. Now here's where this secondary custom value comes in, is right here, because we need to create a specific value for this workflow. So let's come back here. So what I did is I copied and pasted the key, the value key, and plugged it in right here. Okay, so this is our custom field, and it's going to set the event to whatever you had set right here. Okay. Okay, so this event, start time, from now on, these weights are going to be based off of this event, date and time. Okay. So another thing I threw in here was updating the opportunity. So I've got a pipeline I can update. I've got the stage. So if you want somebody to, that should say cupcake class pipeline. But if you have, you know, your opportunity cards and you want to show everybody that's going to currently in your classes, and you want to put a cookie class or a cupcake class pipeline, then you can add this. It's not necessary, but it's cool to just see everybody in your pipeline that has signed up. Okay, and so the next thing that's going to happen is the email sending out the order confirmation. And so we're going to send out our cupcake decorating class confirmation, which is named Class 1 order confirmation. And so that's our template. Here's all the emails that we've created. It's Class 1 order confirmation because this is our Class 1 workflow. You can name it whatever you want here. You can also choose your custom value of your Class 1 title image and delete what's here. It just depends on what you want as the subject line. So let's go ahead and save that. Okay, so here is our wait. We're waiting 5 days prior. We're waiting for a particular event. Okay, and we're waiting 5 days before the event happens. Then do whatever's next on the list. Now, if somebody signs up only 3 days before the event, then what we're going to do is skip all outbound emails and actions until the next event start date. So we'll save. That way they don't get, hey, it's 5 days, when really it's only 3. You don't want them to get emails they don't need. And so after 5 days, as soon as this is up, we're going to send out, hey, 5 days until your class, this Class 1 reminder for 5 days email template. Okay, and then we're going to set up another wait. 1 day before this event. Again, skip all outbound communications. If they sign up the day before, they don't need these things. Okay, so 1 day before, we're going to send out this email. This, hey, your class is tomorrow, Class 1 reminder. Okay, so, and then at the end of this workflow, it just stops, but you can continue the workflow and you can do another wait for 5 days, 3 days after the class, send another email saying, hey, if you love the class, will you please leave us a review? Here's the link. And so you can always do that and extend this workflow till after the class is over. All right, so let's save that. And we'll go back to our workflows. All right, so now that we have this workflow done, we don't have to recreate it. Let's just duplicate it. And we're going to name it Class 2 workflow. Here we go. They always end up in draft mode, so you're not starting something publish mode that's not quite finished yet. So now what we want to do is change this to class 2. We want to change our triggers. Our page is class 2. Our submission type is still sale. And we had one more. Our product is the January cupcake decorating class because class 2 was for January. Okay, so we save that. And then assign a user is still exactly the same. The class customer tag is the same unless you want to be very specific and add your own tag. The set event start time and date, the only difference is this is 2 because I copied and pasted from in my custom values. And so I know that this is exactly the same except for that. So I'm going to save that. I'm going to leave the opportunity the same because they're still just signing up for a class. Email order. Let's change this to my custom values class 2 title and change my email to my class 2 order confirmation email. Nothing else. Let's see. The wait time is going to stay the same. My email for my templates is going to change. I don't think I created a class 2. I haven't copied and pasted that, so I'll just leave it. But if you're copying and pasting, make sure you have all of your classes completed. Otherwise, you'll have to go back and create those. Wait. Yep, and we haven't created this email too. But you get the gist. And then you set it to publish and save. All right, and then you can go back and duplicate your workflow to be workshop 1 workflow, and then just update all your emails and everything. So now that we've created and completed everything, what I'm going to do is a test. So this is my class 1 page. Okay, it's got all of my information. It's even got my $70 as a value, and then it's ready. So I'm just going to put in I am going to delete myself out of here first because we did a test earlier and I should be in here as a contact. There I am. So I need to delete myself so that everything will work properly and fill in correctly because I am being a new user. Okay, so now that I am not in the system yet, I'm going to put myself in here. Go to step 2. Okay, so you'll see that my class name is back up and running and working well. If I had a secondary class I'm offering, then that class will show up here and I can toggle to whatever class I want to go to. And I'm going to put my fake number in so I can receive all my emails. Hit complete order. This will go to the thank you page, and every page will go back to this basic thank you page, class registration confirmation, and then it'll have the name of the class or workshop in it. So you don't need a separate thank you page for each class page, you just need this one. And then we'll come over here to our emails and okay, so we've got our receipt, and if you've watched my previous videos on how to use order forms, then you'll know that a receipt gets automatically emailed. So here's my receipt, my December cupcake decorating class for $70. And this is a generic email, so it just says thank you for your order. Watch for a separate email with your class or workshop details. And because this goes out for everything they purchase, so it needs to be just generic. And here's our cupcake decorating class. And you'll see that now we have our picture in here from our class value or our custom value. Here's all of our December cupcake decorating class. Here's all the information that it pulled in. And for each subsequent, for the 5-day email and the 1-day email, it will look very similar to this. It'll just say, hey, your class is in 5 days, or your class is this weekend. And then at the 1 day, it says, hey, your class is tomorrow. That's about the only difference in the templates. And now that I've signed up, we're going to go back to the workflow, and I'm going to show you what has happened. So here's my class 1 workflow. In fact, I'm going to go here. Here I am right here. Here's the information. My contact source is Class Funnel. And here it added the tag Class Customer automatically. The campaigns and workflows I'm in is the Class 1 workflow. So if you ever have a question where somebody's at in your workflows, there's information right here. And I'm in the class reserved in the pipeline because we added that, add us to an opportunity. The other thing I wanted to show you, oh, here's our conversations. So it just says that an email got sent out to me. And if we set up text messaging as well, then it would show a text message going out. But the other thing I wanted to show you, see if I can remember what that was. Lost my train of thought. So let's go back to the workflow. Oh, assign to user. Let's go to opportunities real quick here. Should have shown up right here, but there may be something that I missed. So I was going to show you that I've been assigned to the demo person. Oh, here it is right here. So here's the demo person. This would actually be your employee or your name here because it was automatically assigned to this person. So that's the other thing I wanted to show you. In the workflow, it assigned to a user, it added a tag, it set the event start, date, and time. It created and put us in an opportunity, but that is, maybe it's because I had a custom value here. I'm not quite sure, but I need to work on that. But it's not necessary for what we're doing. The email, order confirmation email went out, and now here we are. This is me. I'm right here. I'm at the wait. So I'm going to sit here. My little card is going to sit here until 5 days prior to the event, wherein once that timeline gets hit, it'll move down to here. Send that email. It'll move down to here. Wait 4 more days until 1 day prior to the event. And then that email will go. So you can actually see from this class 1 workflow how many people, and this number just goes up, how many people are sitting at this spot here. And so it's very easy to just see what's going on, who's in the list, that sort of thing. So anyway, that is the gist of creating and setting up your classes and workshops from creating the very first one all the way to the end and the follow through. And so if you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next video.